Oh my, that should be it, right? I should be here on the thing. Well, let me check with the controls over on that computer. Maybe we can turn off the AI generated music, which is down tempo, they tell me. Well, folks, it's 1:27 in the morning. And that can only mean one thing. It's time for Dodger baseball, which is coming up, I believe, at 3 o'clock a.m. as it did last night. Very exciting, always, to see your Dodgers back on the field of play. And it's super great when you get one day with your giant trillion-dollar superstar before the whole thing looks like the damn Hindenburg going up in flames. Isn't that fantastic? We can have nice things now for one day. That's it. But I'll get to that in just a moment. First, I got to remind you all, if you're tuning in live, thank you. If you're watching this first thing in the morning, if it's before 9 o'clock Pacific time, a.m., maybe you've got some time left to get involved in the bracket challenge. Now, look, people, I'm not telling you that I've been doing this for a while, but I've been doing this for a while. It's about 25 years or so that Yahoo and I have been putting together this lovely, simple to play, easy and fun bracket challenge. And here's all you have to do. Let me just tell you real quickly. I think you see it right there on your screen. Super easy enough to go to bit.ly/Colin NCAA 24. That's it. Real easy, right? So feel free to jump in. Get your last second picks in. Later in the show, we're going to go over some bracket picks as we kind of get ready for the Dodger game at 3. We have time, because it's the middle of the night. And there's baseball coming up, and baseball is back. And that's just about the best damn thing ever. So get those brackets in. We'll be talking more about brackets in just a second. But of course, the big news today, we have to talk about Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, who apparently misunderstood his job and thought it was betting millions of dollars on European football. Allegedly. There is a lot about this whole thing, which nobody is really certain about. Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm right. It's weird. You don't like weird to start the season. And in a way, I'm kind of glad this is all going down in Korea, because maybe they can just leave that all over there. And then when they come back here, the firestorm will have died down. No, that's not happening. It's not. And it's too bad, because for one glorious game, you saw what this team could be. And now they're going to get pecked to death by international media, national media. You thought the pressure was crazy before. Wait till you see what happens next. Because this is just weird. It's just weird. And in fact, it goes along with the sponsor of tonight's stream. We have a Mountain Dew Code Red at Dodger Stadium. Because, and by the way, you can't stay up till 6 a.m. without a little of this. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's a problem. It's a big problem. People started texting me saying, Colin, what do you think? It's a problem. Like a big problem. Like a crazy problem. It's not great. It's not great. Now, I know that's not really, a hot take, but let me just tell you, it's not great. Whenever you start talking about, let's see, oh yes, federal investigations into gambling rings. That's not good. It's not good. Anyhow, it's not good. It's not good. So the bigger question is, of course, is this going to affect Shohei on the field? No. He's still going to, rake this year. Is it going to affect Shohei off the field? Probably. And we just got to know Mrs. Ohtani or Mrs. Shohei. I forget how it goes. I apologize. But the Shohei Ohtani's wife, who was featured throughout the broadcast last night. And I think the consensus was this. I'm not going out on a limb here. She's adorable. Just super adorable. I was in the group chat with the great baseball writer Molly Knight, who runs a Substack that you all should subscribe to. And Molly's group's chat's opinion was, "Oh, no, she's just adorable." So it was great for her coming out party, and now boy, that's got to be a conversation, huh? Honey, I know we just got married. I know I just signed a $10 trillion contract. No, I'm not getting the money for 15 years. Oh, and there's a federal investigation. How was your day? Yikes. It's not good, people. It's just not good. The team looked good, I thought, frankly. I mean, we were workshopping some ideas for the top of the lineup, and the best I could come up with, was the MOF squad. MOF, Mookie, Ohtani, Freddie, or Freeman. Doesn't make a difference. The MOF squad didn't really catch on. I'm sorry to report, but I'm gonna try. To use it as often as I can. And I thought the MOF squad looked great last night. Freddie Freeman started with a tribute to the 2023 playoffs by keeping the bat on his shoulders and striking out in a key situation. And then the rest of the game, he looked fine. And then Mookie eventually, heated up. Shohei, does the man have an off switch? No, he does not. I'm guessing he discussed what was going to happen in the post game with his pal, his interpreter, his closer than a brother friend, who was either paying off his gambling debts or stealing millions of dollars from him. Both are bad. Both are bad. It's not great, is I guess what I'm trying to say on the Ohtani front. But the play was fine, and let's see what happens tonight. Maybe he'll, go yard. And of course, the other big, Japanese import for the Dodgers is throwing tonight. So that's great. We'll see how he does, and maybe he doesn't have any gambling debts. Maybe. I don't know. Listen, a lot of people are going to make a lot of bad jokes about this whole thing. I'm not one of them. I honestly think this is like the first of many things that will happen this year that are not going to make this year as easy for the Dodgers as everyone spent all off season saying it was going to be. They're going to run away with it. They're going to win 10 million games. They're going to, guaranteed in the World Series. Don't know if they'll win, but they're in. I don't know, folks. I don't know. And I'm going to tell you a story that if you were a reader of my long ago blog, you may have read long ago. I don't even know if you could still find this on the internet. It's in the dark net. It's way back, because back in the day, in the 90s, yikes, I was a blogger. These days the kids call it substacking. Back in the day, we just blogged, and we had blogs, frankly, where we would write down our thoughts about a variety of things. And this is a story I told on that blog, and I'll repeat it to you guys now. It was under circumstances that were probably best left undescribed on a live stream that I ended up with a field access press pass to a Dodgers game circa 1997. Let's just leave it at that. I had press field access. So, I went to the stadium at like 2 p.m. I'm not going to waste that. And it was my first time like walking around batting practice and talking to some players and talking to some coaches and sitting in the dugout with Davey Johnson and, listening to him BS with somebody. And, it was fascinating. But one of the things that I noticed was that all of the Latin American players were sitting in one group doing their stretching, right? All of the white players, for want of a better term, were over in another group doing their stretching. And then there was a scattering of other people who kind of grouped together. And it was like these were three different teams. There was not a feeling of unity. There was not a feeling of like togetherness. Definitely the Latin guys were doing their own thing. The white guys were doing their own thing. There's a couple of Asian players and some miscellaneous, rookies and whatever were doing their own thing. They just didn't cross. They just didn't. There was not like a team unity feel. And I didn't think much about it until about 2 or 3 weeks later when, I don't remember if it was Bill Plaschke or somebody else in the LA Times, wrote a big column about it. and said that this was a well-known open secret on the team, that they were like not together at all on so many things. The team had been struggling, and this was considered one of the reasons. Chemistry, chemistry. Um, so reading a little bit about, and breaking down those barriers between people from diverse backgrounds who are supposed to be working for a common goal, win the World Series, seems like it would be a pretty high priority for many a baseball organization, right? Because if you're going to bring in players from all over the world, you need to get them on board with your system, and as we used to call it back in the day, the Dodger way to play baseball. Good, clean fun. So anyhow, that was the team broke up shortly thereafter. They traded Piazza, Mondesi eventually left. It was, just kind of a disastrous cratering in the late 90s for the Dodgers. And that was one of my concerns going into this year, specifically with Ohtani and his interpreter, who seemed to be like a two-person unit that is completely doing their own thing, right? Like, I didn't get a feel, and I didn't follow the Angels super closely. Okay, so this is maybe an uninformed opinion, but what is the internet if not a place for sharing uninformed opinions? It didn't seem like super much that. It seemed like, I will say this, it at least seemed like there was a possibility that, the silo that is Team Ohtani would remain kind of a silo. Like, would he be hanging out with Freddie or Mookie or Will Smith, or like, will they be like a team in that traditional way? And I'm old fashioned enough that I still think, the team concept counts for something, right? So in many ways, getting rid of the interpreter and replacing him with somebody who's like not his valet best guy is probably not a bad thing in the long run in terms of integrating him with the rest of the clubhouse. Maybe this is just a random thought, but I don't know. It kind of remains to be seen. Like, obviously, turbulent times can bring teams closer together. We've seen this happen plenty of times in baseball. Us against them, us against the world. They don't believe in us. They think we're going to crack. We'll show them. And maybe that's the reaction here, but we just don't know enough about what really is going on. And whenever you have something, again, when the words federal gambling investigation are tossed around, take it seriously. And so we will see what happens going forward. But it's going to be a very interesting broadcast this morning to see how the Dodgers handle it. I think the pregame on Spectrum Sportsnet starts in about 20 minutes. And if you want to turn off from this and head over there to see what they say, God bless, please do. I will not begrudge you because I'm interested to see as well. But that is but one of the major stories happening in the world of sports right now. The other, of course, is March Madness. Now, listen, here's the deal with March Madness. It's here, people. It's here. And as you can tell from this ticker that has been running at the bottom of the screen, it's time to make your picks. I mean, this is it. You got to get them in like now. Okay. This is your last call for brackets. Okay. I did ask our friends over at ChatGPT via Microsoft Copilot to write a comedic, fun ticker text for the bottom of this stream. And so that's what they came up with. I don't know that it's great. And in fact, I actually put together a response ticker. Let's see if that's yes, the preceding terrible ticker was written by ChatGPT. We apologize for its inclusion here. Those responsible have been sacked. If you know, you know. And then I told ChatGPT that was what I had written to. Now, if you'll recall, back in the original promo copy, I'll pop it back up for a second, the one that ChatGPT wrote, in the first version, I told it to like tell jokes or, make it funny or make it whatever. And they did this whole thing about how like the tournament is going to be bananas because it's crazy. And then it put this disclaimer at the end that said no actual bananas were harmed in the making of this promotional copy. And I was like, I don't know, maybe do a pass and take out all the banana stuff. So it did a pass, and it left the disclaimer at the end. No actual bananas were harmed in the making of this promotional copy. And I told it to make it shorter because it had exceeded the amount of space available for me to put a ticker on this live stream by about 200 characters. I said, cut that down. And so it wrote it again. It kept it the same length, and it kept the banana reference. And so I said, okay, look, you cut this in half, ChatGPT. It's too long. Cut it in half. And again, please remove all references to bananas. And it said, yeah, boss, I got you. It wrote a shorter version and kept the postscript disclaimer, no bananas were harmed in the making of this promotional copy. And so finally I was just like, look, you're as bad as a regular comedy writer who is dug into a bit and is going to hold on to it no matter what. No matter how many times you tell them, no, boss, it's funny, I promise. It's funny. You got to keep it in there. The banana thing, the banana gag, it's great. Even after you removed all of the banana references prior to it, it then just went ahead and put the banana button in at the end. And that's not great. Also not great. So the theme of today's live stream, things aren't great. Shohei Ohtani's gambling interpreter or fall guy, depending on your point of view. ChatGPT's inability to write copy without bananas in it. Very odd. So I wrote the follow-up, the hey, listen, this was terrible. Please don't. And I sent it back to ChatGPT and I said, listen, this is my response to your writing. Please let me know, if you have a response to my response. Right. And it did, because if there's one thing it likes to do, it's to smart off. Right. So here's the thing. It wrote, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. We interrupt your regularly scheduled ticker programming to address the recent kerfluffle. Oh, there's a kerfluffle all of a sudden. Who knew? ChatGPT, our resident AI wordsmith, has been caught red-handed. Yes, the same ChatGPT responsible for that less than stellar ticker copy. Oh, well, yes, I agree it was less than stellar. But fear not, we've taken swift action. The culprits have been sacked. Not with actual sacks. Well, now that's funny because, mind you, that would be bananas. Oh my God, it brought back the banana gag. I don't know why. So, dear viewers, it says, let's move forward with renewed vigor. Go to bit.ly/ColinNCAA24 and embrace the madness. Disclaimer, no AIs were harmed in the making of this promotional copy. Oh, ChatGPT, you vex me. You vex me. But it got the banana gag in there again. It will not give up on the banana gag. It really likes the banana gag. And frankly, I'm warming to it. To be honest, I'm actually warming to it. It's actually not bad at all. So if you're curious as to why there are references to bananas in the ticker copy today, that's why. Because I let ChatGPT do it. And we're gonna test its capabilities a little bit later when it comes time to bracketology. But yes, let's get to the picks now, people. Let's get to the picks. We have picks to enter, and so here's the exciting part of the data entry part of the live stream that I think you will all enjoy. Here's what we're gonna do. We have brackets from a variety of celebrities and family members, which we are going to enter into our own personal bracket contest. Now, this is the same bracket contest you can enter right now. If you go to bit.ly/Colin, capital C, NCAA, all capital, 2024. No. Oh, I got it wrong. NCAA 24. No 20. You don't need the 20. Just NCAA 24. As it says right there on the screen, which I could read to you if I looked over to where the monitor is. I am, by the way, the stream today is brought to you by Elgato. And when I say brought to you by, I don't have a partnership or a sponsorship with them. I just mean I have all their stuff. I got a Stream Deck here. I got the Elgato teleprompter on here. But I have not yet. I mean, I guess I could take a look. And I don't want to mess up with it. I don't want to mess with it. But what I need is like a view of myself right here with my prompter copy, and I've not quite figured that part out yet. I have prompter. I have desktop background. But if I moved the control panel over, it would fill the screen and I wouldn't be able to access the controls. And we're working some stuff out on the tech side. You know what I'm saying? You've all been there. You're streamers. You're streamers. You've been there. So yeah. So that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to go to the brackets of a girl that we all know and love. It's Mackie Campbell, ladies and gentlemen. Mackie Campbell. Now, we do know and love her. I asked her, now Mackie is my daughter, I asked her to fill out a bracket, and she said, well, Dad, I don't know anything about college basketball. And I said, you're completely correct. Neither do I. So good luck. Let's have a look at, what you have going on there. And so here is her bracket. So let's take a look, and we'll get a view. You may wish to go full screen on that thing there if you want to take a look and see what exactly Mackie has signed up for. We'll go read along as we do it. So first off, she's got UConn, of course, going all the way to the championship game. This is not an unpopular pick. UConn is very likely to go all the way, at least to the Final Four, right? She's got Northwestern over Florida Atlantic, a minor upset, but the girl likes her Big Ten teams. San Diego State, who some people may not remember, they were in the national championship game last year. San Diego State, go Aztecs! Like, what the heck? That was a big surprise run. Now they were 24-10 this year. Was it a one-off? Is it going to continue? Who knows? But I think they're a safe bet to beat UAB in the first round. Now, here's where I have to start wondering about my beloved daughter. She did pick Yale over Auburn, a 13 versus a 4. It's not a bad pick, per se. I suppose. It's not too terrible. It's not great. I mean, I think I would take Auburn over Yale. Yale's always pretty good, and they're always pretty smart, but I don't like Yale in this one. She's got BYU over Duquesne, Illinois, taking Morehead State. Mackie loves the Drake. Taking the Drake over Washington State. Iowa, her pick in the bracket there, the 2 seed to beat South Dakota State. And then in the West Regional, North Carolina, I'm just going to go through the winners here and point out anything unusual. She's got North Carolina, Mississippi State, St. Mary's, who she has making a run, I believe, to the Final Four, if I'm reading this correctly. Alabama, Clemson, Baylor, Dayton, and in a stunning upset, she's going for the local team, Long Beach State, to knock off number 2 Arizona. Now, that's a 15 beating a 2 on Mackie's bracket, and if she gets that one right, well, she's probably going to beat all of us, certainly. In the South, we've got Houston, Texas A&M. She likes the 9 seeds versus the 8 seeds. That's what I'm noticing. Wisconsin, Duke, Texas Tech, the favorite. Kentucky, a favorite. Boise State or Colorado. I forgot to check who won that game, but the winner of that play-in game against Florida. Marquette over Western Kentucky. Purdue making a good-sized run. TCU, again, a 9 versus 8. I think this is her key move. I think she went all 9s versus 8s just to kind of, see if she could catch lightning in a bottle there. Gonzaga, Kansas over Samford. Oregon, got to pick Oregon over South Carolina because her grandmother was an Oregon Duck. Creighton over Akron, Texas, and Tennessee. Let's fast forward to the Elite 8. We don't need to go through all the little matchups. Here's who she's got surviving. She's got Wisconsin, Kent State? No, that's not Kent State. Who is that? Kentucky. Kent, it says on the thing. I'm like, Kent State. Well, congratulations. They made a comeback. No, she's got Wisconsin and Kentucky in the Elite 8 in the South Regional. Kansas and, the number 3 Creighton Blue Jays playing in the Elite 8 in the Midwest. The West Regional, she's got it down to St. Mary's and Baylor. Well, that's a fair pick. I like that. And in the East, UConn and BYU. Her Final Four, UConn, St. Mary's, Kansas, and Kentucky. She's got UConn and Kentucky going to the finals, and she likes the Wildcats. 82-75 in a barn burner of a final. Well, so there you go. That's Mackie Campbell's pick. Now, those are not bad picks. To be honest, I've seen worse. I've done worse. I have a pretty good feeling about that. I like to pick a lot of the 12-5 games, as upsets, or is it 12-4, 12-5? I can't remember what the bracket. See, I can't even remember what the bracket number is there. You always get a couple of good ones there. Sometimes you get the 13-4 comes through, but I don't think we're going to see another 16 or 15 win for a couple of years. I think the top teams have been shocked enough by what's gone on recently that they no longer take them lightly. I think they take them pretty seriously. So we'll see. So those are the brackets of young Mackie Campbell. They're not bad brackets. I predict she will do well in our contest this year. She's pretty good. She's a pretty good kid, and I really like her brackets. All right, next is a gentleman with some experience in college basketball. He likes college basketball, likes all types of basketball quite a lot. It's former President Barack Obama. Barack Obama, who has made his picks as well for the Final Four, for the whole tournament, frankly. And so let's take a look and see what the former president thinks compared to what Mackie thinks. All right. So if you're filling out at home, you may wish to consider these picks as well. There's all manner of different ways to do this. My recommendations, I love the Yahoo game. And then the official NCAA game is good because when you log in to an NCAA, like to view the brackets, to view the games, you'll see your brackets update live in real time. So highly recommend signing up for the official NCAA bracket, and then also my Yahoo bracket, just because, like I said, been doing it for 25 years. If you have a pick for this year's tournament, your favorite upset pick, go ahead and drop that in the chat. I'd love to give a shout out or proof of life that anyone is actually watching. And if you're not watching, bless you. I appreciate your good thoughts anyway. Mr. President, who did you pick? Well, not surprisingly, he has UConn going all the way. That would be back-to-back for UConn, if I'm not mistaken. He's got Northwestern, of course, over Florida Atlantic. San Diego State, Auburn, BYU, Illinois, Washington State over the Drake. Hates the Drake. Mackie loves the Drake. Obama hates the Drake. That's a Seinfeld reference. That was a show from the 90s, kids. Washington State, yeah, sure. Iowa State. He likes the state schools. San Diego State, Washington State, Iowa State. North Carolina, of course. This is Michigan State loves the state schools. State Mary's. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's St. Mary's. My apologies. Alabama, New Mexico, Baylor, Dayton over Nevada. And, of course, he'll contravene Mackey's pick and choose Arizona to take on Long Beach State, to take out Long Beach State, I guess I should say. Meanwhile, over there in the South bracket, he's going with Houston, Texas A&M, Wisconsin, Vermont. Wait a minute. The President of the United States picked the Vermont Catamounts over the Duke Blue Devils? What does he know? Is he getting a secret briefing we're not getting? I'm curious. Something to think about before I fill out my bracket. North Carolina State over Texas Tech. Bit of an upset, an 11 versus a 6. Kentucky to handle its first round matchup against Oakland. Oakland? Yeah, Oakland. Florida, of course. Marquette, Purdue, TCU over Utah State, picking from the Mackey school there, taking a 9 versus an 8. Gonzaga in Kansas, South Carolina, and Creighton. Another difference from Mackey's picks. She was legally obligated to pick Oregon. The president under no such obligations, although I would not, I would counsel him to pick my mother's schools, and you'd do pretty good. If you had both Wisconsin, Oregon, and the year that they made it, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, you'd do very well usually in the tournament if you pick schools attended, or IU if you want to go to schools attended by my immediate family members. Now, look, you can put together a pretty good bracket with Wisconsin, IU, Oregon, and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Listen, they made it one time, people. They made it one time. It was the best year ever. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. They had 2 games. They won their play-in game. It's crazy. All right. So where were we? Gonzaga, Kansas, South Carolina, Creighton over Akron, Texas, and Tennessee. Now let's fast forward to his Elite 8. He's got surviving out of the East, UConn and Illinois, with UConn going to the Final Four. In the West, it's North Carolina and Baylor, and he's got Baylor coming out of the West, defeating the Tar Heels. Interesting. In the South region, Houston and Kentucky battling. The former president has picked the Kentucky Wildcats, as one is wont to. Purdue and Tennessee, he's got Purdue making Boyle into the Final Four. They're the Boiler makers, so they will be making Boyle, I guess, to the Final Four. And here's his Final Four. UConn versus Baylor. He's got UConn, of course. He's got UConn going all the way. Kentucky versus Purdue. He's going to take Kentucky. And then in a John Calipari celebration, I think, UConn versus Kentucky. UConn taking it all on Kathy Campbell and Court Warren's birthday, April 8th in Phoenix, Arizona. Happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Frank's dad. And happy birthday, Hank Aaron's 15th home run, all of which happened on April 8th. So that is the president's brackets. Those aren't bad brackets. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you like Mackey's brackets? Do you like President Obama's brackets? Do you like your own brackets? You got to pick. You want to tell us something? Feel free. Drop a note in the chat. We'll try to get to it. Come on. We'll get to it. Please. We'll get to it right away. Let's see. We'll do this, and then we'll do that, and then I'm back. So those were the Obama brackets. Now, here is the big question. It writes terrible ticker copy, but could ChatGPT possibly write my brackets for me? These would be computer-generated brackets by one of the most sophisticated large language models ever assembled by mankind. I have been told repeatedly that AI is going to change everything, and I think it would be freaking hilarious if this year 198 people all submitted perfect brackets because they did it through ChatGPT, and ChatGPT nailed it. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's take a look, and we're going to ask some questions of ChatGPT, and we're going to find out, can it seriously do our brackets for us? All right, stand by. There it is. I believe that is the ChatGPT right there, in fact. And so we can take a look and see what ChatGPT has already told us. And it's a couple things. It did give us a kind of a rundown on, I said, tell me about the basketball championship tournament, otherwise known as March Madness. Certainly, here are some made up details. Now, who knows? Here's the problem with the ChatGPT. Who knows how much of this is true? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. All of this could be made up entirely, and we'd have no way of knowing. 68 teams are participating. I rate that mostly true, although I do not consider the play-in games tournament games. Many people do. I do not, because you're not in the tournament at that point. You're playing in. That's why it's a play-in game. Let's see. They're going to go to the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Sure. Allegedly, Stetson is in the tournament. It's not just a fancy hat. And Grambling State. Now, did I see Grambling State in any of these? I do not remember seeing Grambling. So I believe that is a made-up fact or a hallucination. Did we see Grambling in there? Maybe they are in there. I don't know. I'm just going to go back on these brackets real quick. Oh, yeah, Grambling. Well, I guess they were in the play-in game. So, I don't know, that barely counts. Come on. Okay, so here's the procedure. Here's the schedule. Okay, this is great. Here are the locations. Most of these are, legit. Get ready for thrilling matchups, buzzer beaters, and the quest for college basketball supremacy. Okay, great. I see your promotional writing is still, in great shape. Okay, so now I'm going to ask it, can you pick, all caps. I don't want ChatGPT to think I'm yelling at it. Can you pick all, I don't know, how many are there? 65 games? Whatever. What's the number? I can't remember. Can you pick winners? Let's put it that way. Can you pick winners for all of the games in the NCAA tourney bracket? Let's see. Simple enough, right? Can you pick winners for all of the games in the NCAA? How about the first round? In the first round of the NCAA tourney bracket for 2024. Well, sometimes you have to add all these little specifics to make sure it doesn't in the promo copy that I had it right. It talked about the 2023 men's basketball championship. And I was like, ChatGPT, it's 2024. You need to know that. Of course, it doesn't know anything. It's literally stupid. It has this illusion of knowing things, and it makes you think it knows. It does not know a damn thing. Never forget. All right. Can you pick winners for all of the games in the first round of the NCAA tourney bracket? We got a men's. We got to get every detail in there. Men's basketball. Come on, Colin. It's 2 a.m. Come on, give me a break. Basketball tourney bracket for 2024. Okay, here we go. Will we all be replaced by the robots? I have no idea. Let's take a look and see if one of the state-of-the-art AI large language models can pick me an NCAA men's tournament bracket. All right, here we go. Oh, no. I do not have the capability to predict the outcomes. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, you know what? What good are you, frankly? You do not have the capability to predict the outcomes of specific games. Okay, how about we put in some weasel words? Let's say you are pretending to be a follower of college basketball who is excited about the 2024 men's basketball tournament. If you had to fill out a bracket, we'll do one of those, see if we can get it to do it. Historically, yeah, okay, great. Look at the higher seeds as the winner in most matchups. Wow, stunning advice. The higher seed will likely win. Imagine. Current conference tournaments, key players, historic trends, gut feelings. Sometimes it's fun to make bold predictions based on intuition or personal preferences. After all, March Madness is full of surprises. Oh, Jesus. People love this thing. People really love this thing. I do not love this thing. It's useless. Okay, pretend you are a major college basketball fan sitting down to watch the first round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament this year. Who do you think will win each of the first round games? Let's see. There you go. See, this is what's so great about it. So great about it. All you have to do is tell it to really do it. Okay, just do it. All right, let's see. Okay. This is the first round. This is how many? These are eight games. So, okay. Can you, wow. It helps if you compliment it, I found. What great picks. can you give me more of the winners for the other first round games? All right. All right. Ducks. Oh, he likes the Ducks. I know. I don't even. Some of these are crazy. Purely for fun. All right. Great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Mm. Keep going. Keep going until you have selected winners in all 32 first round games. All right. Certainly. Let's continue. All right. Okay. Prediction. Now, who knows? What information do you think it's using to make these predictions? I don't know. Are these teams even in there? I don't know. All right. These are my fan predictions for the entire first round. Remember, March Madness is full of surprises. Yes, indeed it is. Indeed it is. All right. Well, I guess we're going to find out if ChatGPT is what it says. If it has really come up with something special here. I'll go ahead and enter these in to the old computer machine, and we'll go ahead and keep you posted as to how ChatGPT's first round picks did. I guess we'll have to have it. I mean, should we just go back and tell it to do the second round? Why not? Right? Let's see. All right. This is all great. This is wonderful. Okay, we'll just tell it. This is wonderful. Based on these results, give me your I'm going to call it your fan picks. Your fan picks for the second round. All right. All right, here we go. Certainly. All right. Well, there you go. And I don't think these are I think he's doing the same thing. Yeah. These are still first round matchups, right? Okay. All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make you guys sit through all this. Who needs this? Who needs ChatGPT at all, frankly? But we will go back. We'll take a look and we'll see how the first round picks do, and then maybe I will pick out the rest, or during the game enter in some other picks for the other rounds, and we'll just see if ChatGPT gets that bracket off to a good start. All right, it's 2:10. I bet the pregame show has started on Spectrum Sportsnet LA. Hey, I heard something the other day, and I don't know if this is true, but as I mentioned earlier, this is the internet, so all bets are off. Just say whatever comes to your mind. The Spectrum Sportsnet, apparently, if you get internet from Spectrum, you get free access to Spectrum Sportsnet LA Dodgers channel, not Lakers channel, Dodgers channel. And that's new for this year. So if you want, we're looking into, cord cutting, getting rid of DirecTV and, whatever. But I was certainly concerned, especially when looking at some of the alternatives that don't have Spectrum Sportsnet LA Dodgers channel, or whatever the full name of it is, as part of their packages. Like YouTube TV does not apparently have it. And so how would I watch the Dodgers without, VPN and some false credentials? I like to watch the games legally. That's just me. But yeah, so but apparently we do have to get internet from Spectrum. They're the only ones that have fast enough pipes in our neighborhood here. And so it seems reasonable to believe we could actually get the Dodgers games as part of our internet package, which would be great, because then I can say goodbye to DirecTV after 28 years. It's a long time. But they're just so pricey now. It's crazy. Like many things, the price has gone up. The quality has not. And now everything's streaming. It's all streaming, people. You don't need the satellite anymore. You can take that dish off your roof, and you'll be good to go. So I remember we got our roof replaced about a year or 2 years ago. And when we got it replaced, the people who replaced the roof took down the satellite dish and just left it down. They didn't care. I was like, wait a minute. Shouldn't you at least put it back where you found it at minimum? You don't have to tune it in or anything. I guess I'll have to call DirecTV and get somebody, but it was just like in pieces. I was like, well, that's not, that'll go on the Yelp review. Probably. So, okay. So, Dodgers Padres coming up at the top of the hour. I want to thank anyone who stayed up and watched this stream with me. Do we have? Oh my goodness, we do have comments. My apologies. Tracy Ann letting me know that FSU is not in it. Okay, so already ChatGPT completely useless as we said. Tracy Ann, thank you for watching. It must be 5 in the morning where you are. Maybe are you on the East Coast or just a huge Dodgers fan? I'm not sure. Or maybe you're on the West Coast. I don't know, but I'm so glad to see that you actually watched. And thank you for commenting. Tracy Ann also says she's going to go change her picks now because of ChatGPT. Apparently, she has to change them to teams that are actually in the tournament if she was following those. Yes, ask. Yes. Please ask ChatGPT why I'm still. I thought you were up for the baseball game. Overseas international fun baseball is always great. And so thank you very much for watching. But the game starts in 45 minutes. So and baseball is back. I'm wearing as you can see, I'm ready for the year. I'm excited about the year. Tracy Ann, I really do hope you did get all of your last second picks in. I'm sure that you did. You're a longtime player. Maybe we'll do some more of these streams back when the Dodgers we'll definitely check in over the weekend on how Mackey's picks are doing, how ChatGPT's fantasy picks are doing, and how my picks are doing, which I'm sure will be usually by about the 4th game of the first day, completely out of it. The first 3 games are upsets, and it's like, well, there goes my year. by 1 p.m. on Thursday, bracket status equals busted. That's just always the way it goes. So let's see. Thank you, Tracy Ann. I appreciate this message of support coming in at all hours of the night. But but it's been fun. Watching middle of the night baseball is very odd and fun. It just seems weird. But there's a chat group. As I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of Molly Knight's Substack. Molly wrote the great book about the modern Dodgers called The Best Team Money Can Buy. A fantastic book, really a lot of insight and access to team insiders talking about the Guggenheim, the McCourt to Guggenheim transition. Side note on the Guggenheim group that now owns the Dodgers. Number 1, nobody asked for you to put a giant G patch for Guggenheim on their uniforms, which looks ridiculous. The G is Giants. We don't like Giants. Get that out of here, okay? When nobody wants a Dodger uniform with the G on it. Bye. The only G goes like right in the middle, right there. Get rid of this G patch. Doesn't make any sense. And then secondly, if you look at the batting helmets this year and really take a good look at them this morning, they have like this really crappy press-on decal on the helmet that says Guggenheim, which is not a short word, okay? It's a long word. It goes over a lot of the helmet, and oh my God, why? It has all the, as I said last night, I think in the group chat, it has all the class and verve of a 1979 model rocket kit decal, that you have to like rub off, from the little piece of plastic and get it onto your rocket so that it has the NASA logo or the flag in a certain place. It looks super duper cheap. and crazily just bad, 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 bad. Speaking of bad, the new uniforms. Oh my God. They are terrible. And we didn't even see anybody's junk last night. They're just bad. I when I watched the Tyler Glasnow throw for the Dodgers, it just looked ridiculous. The back of his lettering in the back is all messed up. There was something about the uniforms last night that just looked horrible. And I went back and I looked at some of last year's footage of Dodger road uniforms, and they didn't look that bad. I don't know what they did, whether it's the fabric in the lettering or the font or something, but something is really off on this year's uniforms, and it just looks crappy. And I know this was the big story, like at the beginning of spring training. Well, this was a reminder. This did not get fixed. They're going to play the season in these garbage outfits, that look just like cheap, you know, knockoff 99-cent store, jerseys, like the Dodger fan jersey that you would find in the aisles at Target is what it looks like. These are not professional uniforms as we have come to know. And then thirdly, to continue my rant, the continued use of advertising branding on everyone's jerseys. Why did we give up on that? Why did we allow that? Now everybody looks like a European soccer player. It's just gross. It's just gross. We don't need it. I watched some old footage of like a Dodger game from the 90s or early 2000s. Everything is clean and unadorned. I played MLB The Show 24, the new, every year PlayStation Sony Studios puts out a big fancy baseball game, and this year, this version is pretty good. But because of licensing deals, they're not able to, litter the stadiums with so much garbage signage that you can't even. It all just clutters together, right? The stadium in the game looks clean and nice and the way it used to look, and it's just like, guys, how come you can't? And this has always been my pitch for the Dodgers. I don't know why they've never done this. Back in the day, you had like 4 advertisements in the stadium. 4. 2 things on top of the scoreboards and maybe 2 signs somewhere else. And like that was about it. The stadium was like one of the last to become a billboard of things. Now you have conservatively 200 messages competing for the viewer's attention. On the bullpen gates, on the back wall of the bullpen, on the outfield fences, above the outfield fences, on the scoreboard, on the top of the scoreboard, on the bottom of the scoreboard, on the ring around the loge deck, on the ring around the reserve deck. Everywhere, every square inch is now covered in signage. There's an amount of money you make for that, right? An amount. If you add up all the ad money for all of the stuff, let's call it conservatively over a season, $10 million. I don't know. Let's call it 10 million just for purposes. And you've got 200 ads, right? So the next year you say, advertisers, here's the deal. We still want to hit a floor of 10 million in ad sales for signage, but we are only offering 100 slots. You may have to pay a little more this year, but you will have one of the 100 slots at Dodger Stadium. You will be slightly more exclusive. You will get a better bang for your buck, blah, blah, blah. The next year, you go to 50. The next year, you go to 20. The year after that, you go to 10. You get the stadium back to its previous look, and you're still making the same amount of money. Because trust me, some company will want to be one of 4 sponsors at Dodger Stadium. They will. Whether it's crypto.yeah or whatever, somebody will want to be one of the exclusive sponsors. You will not lose money under this plan. I guarantee you. And you'll provide an unobtrusive, nice, clean respite from the rest of the world where we are attacked at all sides at all times by all manner of advertising, billboards, ticker. Oh, tickers. I have a ticker. Oh, my goodness. Etc. It's not a bad plan. Why aren't I running the Dodgers? I guess is my big question. That's a question we will have to address on a future stream. People, thank you so much for joining in. Tracy Ann, random guy on Twitch who does a yoga thing. Bless you. Everyone else who tuned in and watched, very much appreciate you supporting the stream. Let's go Dodgers. Let's go NCAA. Let's see how that all turns out. And we will catch up with you sometime over the weekend with an NCAA update. And until then, as the kids like to say, the balcony is closed. We don't really have a good outline. I don't know what it is. Maybe the balcony is closed. I don't know. But thanks again. Good night, good morning, and go Dodgers.